Okay, I got an extra guy here today, and this is what is going on. Basically, we got a spring cleanup going on here. Got leaves being cleaned out of shrubs back there. This is something that I actually do use a lot. I got an Echo hand thatcher. It actually is cost comparison equal to the large walk behind thatching machine. Yeah, I'll get some more footage here and go from there, but this is the start of one of the spring cleanups that we got going on. So I'll see you in a little bit. Here we got first round of the cleanup occurring, and I'm just finishing up with the front yard. Now I have to go into the backyard. So it's usually a 2 or 3 step process when it comes to sucking up all the grass clippings and so forth. But anyway, I'll get to it and get some more work done here. Here we got some more of the backyard that we're working on. This backyard actually does have a small problem. There's a lot of moss that grows over there. There's a tree over here that's severely shading the area. We've tried planted super shade and nothing likes to take over in that area, but then over here she's been having a problem with various insects in the lawn, and we've been trying to combat that. The backyard's been a work in progress. Hopefully this year, with what we're going to plan on doing, that we can fix a lot of these bare spots. This whole area was overseeded last year. Actually, it was cultivated and freshly seeded, but yeah, it is a very small backyard. That's why I'm only using my Echo thatcher unit. It is kind of work. Normally I don't like using it, but we normally only use it for spot work, but for small properties like this it does work. It just a little bit of elbow muscle, if you want to say, or however you want to word that. But yeah, same thing here. This area don't always like to grow. Underneath that plastic sheeting there is a pond that she has with a waterfall system, but I'll get to it and knock this out, and he's working on cleaning up the front, and we'll go from there. So see you in a little bit. Okay, here he's burning back the edges. We had just finished up the spring cleanup. We still got to blow up a little bit of sidewalks here and there, but this is after all the thatching has been done. All the edges of the wood chip beds have been cleaned up. Basically all the spring cleanup is done. Now we're at the step where we're going to be aerating the lawn. I have to drag out my big kubota, but, well, my compact utility. There you see him burning back the edges so that the edges are all nice. Yeah, this is basically the operation of a spring cleanup. The rule is you want to leave the property better than what it came. That's always my rule. So whenever we do a spring cleanup, even if we have to go over and mow it after he trims the lawn, we want to clean up every morsel of thatch and the old grass clippings, so that basically it's a fresh start to the season. When this lawn actually kicks in and starts growing, my lawns usually are so thick that we have to raise the mowers up to almost 3 inches. And we still get a clumping factor sometimes. yeah, this lawn usually turns out to be a super thick lawn, lush lawn. You'll notice that the edges do see signs of wear and tear, and in Wisconsin here, unfortunately, we have a snow problem. That usually happens in the spring of the year from basically the snow removal. There is ways to take care of it, and normally I get on that after the spring cleanup is done. So there's a method I use to repair the edges. It just comes from running snow blowers right along the edge and so forth. But yeah, let me jump in the kubota here and knock this stuff out with the aeration. I already started one swipe, and then I remembered I had to get the camera out so I could record some of this. But yeah, let me get to it and get the aerating done, and then we got a couple other things that we have to do. But yeah, alright, I'll catch you in a little bit after we're done with the aeration. Okay everybody, the end result is all done. Lawn is aerated. There is two things that were extra done that I keep as a trade secret. Some of you may be able to see what it is if you look closely, but I keep them as my trade secret. A lot of guys do too, so but yeah, the property is basically all done. This edge of this cement here is actually a borderline between the neighbors and hers. Obviously we still have a couple repairs there yet to do. All in all though, the end result was what was to be expected, if not more, which is always a good thing. A lot of guys overlook that word aeration. That aeration is actually what thickens up the customer's lawn. So anyhow, yeah, pretty much the aeration is done. All the plugs pulled out nicely. Sometimes that's an issue where the plugs don't like to pull out, but on this one it looks like we got a fair amount of plugs out. So yeah, pretty much everything's done, and we'll be off to the next property. So I'll be videoing at the next one hopefully and go from there. But until the next segment. Okay, some of you wonder why I use this drop trailer. Well, in an earlier video I had showed how quickly it goes. Well, I got the loader on, you can see, and now it's just a matter of, and I got it strapped on. All I really need to hold this loader on is that one strap. It holds it that secure. But this is what's involved with loading it. As you can see, the trailer is just going straight up. There's not much to it. I just lift and the tractor is lifted up in the air. Give you a little insight, this tractor weighs close to 3,000 pounds. So loader goes up, I latch that lever right there, tractor's locked in place, I lower the bucket, I gotta climb up in the cab, open the door because I still haven't taken the sides off yet, lower my bucket, kind of tip it forward a little bit, as always I have a problem, lower the bucket. My 3 points already lowered, so latch my door. Okay, this was a spring cleanup property that was done over this past weekend. Basically it was a spring cleanup with aeration and a handful of other things. This hill here, this hill is, for lesser terminology, an interesting battle, but the hill does have some weak spots in it. It's kind of a common thing when you have 45-degree angled incline hills. But as you can see, the lawn was aerated. It does have its issues. It's been a work in progress for the past year or two. As you can see over here, there's not as many core plugs pulled out, so the lawn is better here than in some of the other spots. Behind the garage over there, there's really not much to see over here. The lawn is in, for lesser terminology right now, in bad condition. It has filled in. Last year it did fill in. I think that just from snow pile, because that's where we do put the snow piles. A lot of the landscaping here was done up last year. Here's a bed that's actually a lot of daylilies and so forth. We have some hostas here along the end that they should be coming up anytime now. Yeah, this is basically the end result of a spring cleanup. The lawn was scalped intentionally so that helps thicken the lawn back up when it does start growing, because the lawn will be able to grow out. So yeah, here there was a bunch of stumps removed. We had to do that late last fall. As I said, this is a work in progress, this property, so. Okay, here it gives everybody a little glimpse of what aerating is about. It's actually showing the aerator in action. So this is actually a 3-point aerator. It's been modified from a toe behind into a 3-point, but it does the same thing. As you'll notice, my 3rd point isn't actually connected. It uses a little bit different system, but principle is the same. Yeah, so now he's running into a small issue where he's trying to turn the tractor. It's usually a tight fit, but anyway, this kind of gives you a little insight on what aeration is actually about. He's lining up for his next swipe, and he'll be coming forward. And now he's just coming right at us, and aeration is doing its thing, and hopefully the lawn turns into a nice thick lush lawn. If it works the way it is, right now he's lifting a little bit for that sidewalk, and he drops it back down, and problem is solved. In case everybody's wondering, yes, I finally took the cab off my tractor. It's one of those things where I leave the cab on as late in the year as possible because we do have cold weather here in Wisconsin. Today is actually only about a 45-degree day, so yeah, it's not a nice day, but more or less it's one of those things that we have to deal with living in Wisconsin here. This gives everybody a little insight on what aeration actually does. This is a good example here. We're getting a lot of cores actually removed from the grass, and that's actually what you want, because over time those cores will disintegrate, and they also help fill in bare spots on your lawn. If you have high and low valleys, which this lawn does have to a degree, those cores will actually disintegrate, and then they wash into the low spots and helps level lawns. So that's actually a good thing to get that when that happens. Okay everyone, I really didn't get a chance to end the video properly when I was out on job sites because I just didn't get around to recording, but that video was done a couple days over the course of the last couple days, and today we had a lot of rain, so I figured it was a perfect opportunity to move my snowplow equipment. For example, this is the plow for my dump truck. I normally keep it in an open area where it's easily accessible in case we need it during the month of April. Here's a couple shots of where I'm putting the actual snow equipment away. There's a tree line right there, and I just kind of tuck the stuff under the tree line, and then I spray it down good with oil, which helps deter. It don't help deter rust, but it kind of stops it a little bit. But anyway, yeah, it was a matter of just putting the snow equipment away today and moving some equipment around. The next picture here, you're going to see that I'm actually picking up my snow blower and moving my snow blower. Yeah, it was just a lot of repetitious work, things that I've been putting off doing. So yeah, I also took the cab off my front end loader. I think in the video, if there's a couple shots of it, it's still on. I did that towards the later part of the day because was one of those things that was starting to get on my nerves. I don't really like keeping that cab on long in the fall, in the spring. But yeah, I took the cab off, so it's a little bit easier to get on and off the tractor now. I keep it on in the late in the spring, because we do have a tendency to get a snowstorm or two in April. Also, it does protect you from the elements a little bit if it's a windy day. For example, when I was rototilling the gardens, it does help protect you if you're sitting on the tractor for hours on end. Here's a picture of the front end loader when it's loaded on the trailer, because I was about to leave to go do another aeration project on a small property. But on that note, I'm going to cut out here. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you on the next video.